Another year has gone by, and 2020 is behind us, and which means it's another year for the state of JavaScript. This is going to be my take on the state of JavaScript for 2020. The result was recently released, and I think I saw some things that are quite surprising to me, honestly. And this is going to be sort of like a reaction video to the results of the survey. So head on over to 2020.stateofjs.com if you want to see the full results. The link will also be in the description below. And let's get started. First, I'd like to say this shirt here is amazing. I personally would like to buy this shirt, and it's only $29. And I definitely recommend you to go check it out. It's quite pleasing to the eye. So definitely check it out. So let's start by looking at the demographics of the people who took this survey. This year, there are 23,765 people who took the survey in 137 countries. So looking at the world map below, it seems like United States is still one of the most responsive countries in the world who took the survey. Europe comes second, and then the rest of the world, it's pretty much even. Quite surprisingly, Russia has a pretty big number of people who took the survey. So that's not so surprising that the United States come first, but we'll see. Hopefully, I'd like to see much more responses from countries over here in the Middle East or the Asian countries or South American countries. Hopefully, we'll get more and more developers to respond to the answers, because right now it seems like the answers are pretty biased towards the countries with the most people who took the survey. So United States, 80%. So look at the salary ranges, and it's, since the value of the money is different in different parts of the world, $100,000 in New York City is so much different than $100,000 in, I don't know, in Midwest, in Canada, or in South America, right? So based on this number, I don't really trust this number, because majority of the answers comes from the United States. So, but we'll take that. So $150,000 to $100,000 is the average salary for the developers. We got some 100 to 200K comes in second. So as you can imagine, these two categories might come from big FAANG companies. They pay a lot of money, not just salary, but equity as well. But I think the actual number for the average salary comes from somewhere in this range, because if you take the whole world into account. As for years of experience, seems quite expected. We have, not many people who just starting in this field. But as we get older, we get more people to be in this range here, 2 to 5 or 5 to 10 years. I myself fall into these two categories, and this seems to be quite common between 2 to 5 to 10, 20, 5 to 10. People with more than 20 years of experience, a lot less, probably because they are retiring or they have retired. So, we do have this issue of ageism in the tech industry, but we'll talk about that in another video. Company size, and 100 to 1,000 seems to be the average range of company sizes, and that's not surprising. And these are probably the FAANG companies. So how do they find the survey? Most of them from this website, and the Twitter, Google, and then all these rest of stuff. Nothing surprising there. Now gender, we still have this thing where majority of developers are male, and as you can tell from the survey, 91.1% of developers are male, and only 5.8% are female, and then the rest are non-binary, or prefer not to say. So we still have this thing. Like, I personally interviewed a lot of engineers, and pretty much it fills this statistics pretty well. Out of 10 people, maybe one was female. So like for my case, I actually interviewed like 20 people, but only one was female. So it's quite I like to see this number change, and hopefully in the next few years we'll get more female engineers or other genders. As for race and ethnicity, whites are overwhelmingly in the survey, so we have 70% are whites and Europeans. I'm kind of surprised by these two numbers because I think there should be quite a bit of Asian people in engineering. But so if you add these two up, you get like 13-14% compared to Hispanics, which is 11. So that's quite, I mean, it's still a pretty large margin lead by white people. But I think minority will catch up quite nicely. And I like, see probably more black people, Middle Eastern, like, so hopefully this number will improve too in the future. As for your job title, when this is like, what do you say when you see other people at the parties? Like, I don't know, what do you do? What's your skill set? It seems like a lot of people are saying that they are full stack developers, and it definitely sounds better than like just front end or just back end, right? Like nowadays, in engineering, especially web engineering, you're expected to know both front end and back end. So this is not surprising to me, and people say that they're full stack. But front end engineers are still quite in demand, and these are the React people, the CSS and front end JavaScript. So that's still pretty good. And if you say web developer, I myself, I like to say I'm an engineer, I'm a developer. I don't like to say like whether I'm a specific category of developer, but that will be my answer. And of course, you got some CTOs, back-end engineer, and designers. Industry sector, most of them are in programming and technical, and a lot of people are in consulting, like freelancers. You got e-commerce, retail, finance. So I'm happy to see all these other categories are coming up, like finance, education, healthcare, and all that stuff. So, I mean, I work in the media content industry, but I still call myself an engineer, so like programming. So I can understand this is why this is getting the most answers. CSS proficiency. That's a very specific question. Seems like we have a lot of CSS experts over here. Like nowadays you have quite a bit of stuff. Like it's not just CSS anymore. It's yes, you still need to understand the concept of CSS, but nowadays in the front end you got like Sass, you got less. Now you got like recently you got style components. You got what's that other library? I forgot the name of the thing where you get like you write snippets of style, and then you just apply classes to your divs, and then it'll just style it. I forgot what it is, but there's a lot of new front-end technologies. So to say that they are expert, I don't blame them, because you sort of need to know them all if you want to market yourself well and be proficient. But I probably put myself in intermediate. I don't really want to say I'm advanced or expert, but who knows. JavaScript proficiency. Yep, I think people would like to put themselves in the expert category, because you pretty much need JavaScript if you do any sort of web development. So this is understandable. You get 52% in experts, advanced, intermediate. That's fine. Backend proficiency. I'm kind of surprised that we see more advanced and experts here, because like with JavaScript or front end engineering, you don't really touch the backend that much. But if you call yourself a full stack engineer, you probably need to be like, at least an intermediate knowledge level for backend. So you have advanced and experts. Little bit surprised to see that's much advanced or experts, but hey, that's just good, I guess. All right, let's go over to the next section, which is features. While most people are aware of the majority of JavaScript feature in the surveys, many still have not yet actually used most of them. So this is about JavaScript features, and we want to know how many people know about or use some of these features. So let's see, you got browser APIs, you got let's see, so the light purple color is know about it, the deep purple is have used it, and then the ratio. So seems like a lot of people have know about it. This is kind of strange. Oh, I mean, this is filled, so people have used local storage for sure. So let's take something that's not so common like web VR. So many people have heard about it, but only a tiny portion of people have used it. So the Fetch API, which is pretty much everybody uses it. So I don't know, Web Shadow DOM, animation, API, speech. I've used a lot of speech, but it seems like not many people as well, 14%. Service workers is quite popular because people want to use the off-state, offline apps. So it seems to be getting popular. WebSockets definitely super popular. Not surprising there. WebRTC, I really love WebRTC. I wish more people know about it and use it because a lot of things we use in the browser are now powered by WebRTC, like video conferencing or voice. If you ever use Discord, like a lot of it is based on WebRTC strategy, technology. So hopefully we get more momentum into that. All right, for syntax, it's really like to see the optional chaining is getting more traction, and a lot of people have used it. I have started using it, and I'm never going back to previous way of doing it. Noise coalescence, good, 59%. Private fields, I have not used it once, but I have heard about it, so I will be in the know about it category. Spread operator, use it every day. Destructuring, same thing. Arrow function, everywhere. So those are expected. Now for some of these other syntaxes, like dynamic imports, I have heard about it, have not used it. Decorators, same thing. I don't know, like it's kind of like a concept from Python. I don't know if you want to use it in JavaScript. It's not really that standard. Proxies, I know about it, but I have not find a good use case for it in the code base. So, yeah. Async await, definitely, every time, almost every time. Promise, all settled. I love this thing. I wish, and a lot of people have used it. I mean, this. Oh wait, this is just promises, but promises all settled. I hope people use it in the future. I will do a video about this. I think it's very, very useful. Progressive web apps. Okay. Seems to be 59%. Not bad. WebAssembly. That's still kind of a mystery to me. I have not used it. But I imagine if you want to write like a in-browser emulator, that'll be super useful. So 12%, not bad. You got maps, sets, flats, array, big int. Let's do the array stuff. So I'm happy to see maps and sets are getting used. I use them sometimes in my code base. Array flat. So this is like a replacement for Lodash flatten function. Good. Types of typed arrays. I don't know what this is, but it seems like it's getting a lot of use. Big int, it's like they're trying to get, variable types into JavaScript. So big int, it's one of them if you want to process big numbers or something. So it's not getting much usage, but I think it's a very specific use case for it. So that's good. So let's look at knowledge score. Out of all the features mentioned in the survey, how many did the respondent know about? So I would say myself to be about 70-80% range, but it seems like the majority of people here seems to know about all of them. Okay, so this is about know about, not for proficiency. So I mean, know about it, sure. I mean, I probably know about all of these, 80-90%. So I would put myself in this category. Let's look at syntax next. Destructuring. 2019, we got 85% use it. 2020, we got 89%. So a bit more increase in that, which is good. Spread operator, even more increase, similar increase, good. Arrow function, and almost everybody's using it, so that's really good. Noise coalescence, this is kind of new. I think it just started in 2020. So we have 45% used it, and 31% know about it, and 23 never heard of it. So we need more people to hear more about it. So I will probably do a video about that. Optional chaining, definitely got a lot of people using it, more people using it, and still same thing. We need more people know about these things so they don't waste their time when they're writing their code. Private field, I personally have not used it at all, so it's that seems to be pretty, I don't know, correspondent to the survey. 10% have used it, 45% know what it is, but 43% never heard of it. I will put myself in between these two. I've sort of heard about it, but I just don't never used it or know about it, really.